Hey everybody, welcome to Real Estate Revenue. I'm your host, Paul Airy, and I want to talk to you today about markets in different cities. When you watch financial news networks, I like to watch Fox Business, and they will eventually get around to talking about real estate. So why do I want to talk about markets in different cities? Well, every city and its metropolitan service area, or its metro service area, that's the area around the city where people may live outside the city, they may live in suburbs, they may live out in the country, but they come into that area for goods and services. So the metro service area is where they take all of that population that comes into that area for that reason. So that's a market. So let's take, for example, the housing shortage. A lot of talk about the housing shortage. Everybody's saying, oh, we have a housing shortage. There's not enough units to go around. But they aren't talking about specific markets. If you have, let's say you had two cities in your state. One city had a shortage of 10,000 houses, and the other city had a surplus of 5,000 houses. Then they would tell you, well, we have a housing shortage of 5,000 units, but they wouldn't say it. But they wouldn't explain that that's in two different cities averaged out. They're just going to say, in general, we have a shortage of 5,000 houses. So, but that shortage doesn't affect everybody, does it? 50% of the state has a shortage, 50% has a surplus. And it works that way nationwide. They may say we have a nationwide housing shortage, but not everybody does. And I'll give you a specific example. Austin, Texas, where I live, there's a company called Lennar Homes. Lennar Homes has been playing TV ads. They have 38 neighborhoods in this area. They have a surplus of houses. They're selling at a discounted price, and they're giving financing at 4.25%. So that tells me there's not a housing shortage here. They have a surplus, and they are one of half a dozen or a dozen large corporate builders in this area, and they've pretty much all got that same issue right now. Sales have gone down. Sales, stopped. Interest rates went up, people quit buying homes. And here, they built so many, we have a surplus. Now, other cities may not be that way, but they can't speak in generalities and be accurate nationwide. So if you're looking for a house, don't take their word for it when they tell you that there's a shortage. Check your market. Your market could be different than where they're talking about. So you may have a surplus. You might be missing out on something, is what I'm getting at. You could be missing out on a good deal on a house. Do your own research. So let's talk about commercial real estate. In commercial real estate, the same thing is going on. There's a lot of publicity about office buildings. Office buildings have huge vacancy rates right now, and they're saying that there's a huge surplus of office space, and the values of office properties are going down, and there are foreclosures, there's defaults on mortgages, and that is true. However, there are markets, smaller markets, that don't have that vacancy problem. There are markets that don't have the default issues. So what's going on in commercial real estate? And here's an example of how they're not spreading the story out far enough. They're saying that basically they're only talking about this problem being that I'm about to tell you about being with office properties. In commercial real estate, financing is done pretty much the same over all markets. It's the one thing that's constant in all the markets throughout the country. And what that is that every 5 years you have to renew your loan. There's a balloon payment. You have to pay it off, or you have to refinance it. Well, nobody pays it off. Okay, almost everybody refinances. Well, what's happened is interest rates have more than doubled since the last time they renewed their loan, since they got their original loan. And when that happens, their payment goes way up, and they might not be cash flowing anymore. In fact, a lot of them are no longer cash flowing properties. So something has to be done about that, and you couple that with a vacancy problem, then you've got trouble for these landlords. However, a lot of that right now is happening with bigger properties. And I'm talking about large high-rise office buildings and companies that had leased out entire floors, maybe 2 floors, and they've cut their space in half because of the pandemic panic. They sent everybody home to work from home, and now nobody wants to come back, and they can't get them to come back to work. So they don't need the space anymore. So when their lease comes due for renewal, they don't renew all of it. They say, well, we only need half that much space or less. And so the income in these properties is going down fast, and that's causing some problems. Now, it's not in every market. The financing is in every market, That problem is in every market, but the vacancies aren't in every market. So naturally, there will be some opportunities in these office buildings, but the market is what you need to look at. Look at what market the buildings are in. Do your own research. Do your own due diligence, and don't rely on what you hear on television. They may give you some ideas that are fairly accurate to start you off with, but don't rely on that as the whole story. It's never the whole story. You have to look for the rest of the story. And that's where you'll find it in commercial real estate, is by separating markets. Look at separate markets. So that's about it for this time. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and tell me if you've seen any of this in your market. Tell me what's going on in your market. Are there vacancies in offices? Is there a housing shortage? Do you have sales going on like we have in Austin, Texas? We have right now 43,000 new apartment units under construction in this area. If anything like that's going on in your city, let me know about it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. I want to see what's going on in the rest of the country and in specific markets. So that's about it. I'll see you next time on Real Estate Revenue.